Hello, and welcome to SciShow Talk Show, that day on SciShow where we talk to interesting people about interesting stuff. This is Rebecca Bendick from the University of Montana, where you are a professor of geoscience, geophysics?
Correct.
I don't know what geophysics is. I know that has to do with physics and the Earth. That's my guess.
That is what it is, yeah. Actually, as Earth scientists, we live in this very comfortable, soothing, Newtonian world. So
you don't have to worry about
most of the physics of the Earth is like classical mechanics. So how things squish, how things deform.
But fluid dynamics, which is just very complicated.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you study earthquakes a lot.
I do study earthquakes a lot, and I started out really thinking about them from that classical mechanics and physics point of view, like how do earthquakes work? Why are faults sticky and then they slide? What makes the shaking? How does it actually work? But now I also think a little bit about what are the implications for human communities.
Right. So you've gone from just the purely theoretical, like fascinating Earth stuff to like, oh yeah, people also die, so we should think about that.
Yes, and you know, those are not mutually exclusive topics, because understanding the physics of what's going on helps to inform you about why do people die, and are there things we could do better so fewer people die. And
we hear about earthquake forecasting. I've seen San Andreas 2 times now, and I know that guy, who's the guy, Paul Giamatti, he knows when there's going to be earthquakes, and nobody's listening to him. But I'm pretty sure that's bull. But is it like? And also there were those scientists in Italy a few years ago who like they got sued or something, and they were going to put them in jail because they didn't.
They really did
predict.
put them in jail, at least for a bit.
Oh my gosh.
Although I don't know how bad.
Because that's just going to make you like not want to even investigate that line of inquiry. You're like, okay, if you're going to send us to jail, I'm not a geophysicist anymore. We're going to study something else.
Except I don't think that physicists and geophysicists work that way, right? We just want to know how it works.
Right.
Throw me in jail.
Fine.
Oh well, like I did my best. Ideally, you don't get thrown in jail for being wrong, because that's a pretty bad way to do science. And being wrong is a key part about making progress. But
is there like, are we working toward a place as our species where we kind of have a better idea of when an earthquake's going to happen?
So I think there's actually a kind of like philosophical fallacy built into this discussion.
The question
that we're
I just
having.
asked you?
Yeah, which is, it's not binary. It's not the case that like either I know exactly what day and time and magnitude an earthquake's going to be, or I know nothing at all about it and it's just hopeless. There's a huge like suite of middle ground of understanding there, and the way I like to frame it is like, so weather forecasting, right? Nobody, not even like your favorite meteorologist,
Mark Haga.
says, yeah,
He's been
Mark
in
Haga.
SciShow Talk Show before.
Yeah, so he doesn't like phone you up and say, yo, like at 3:04
There's going to be a lightning strike in your front yard.
Yep, or 6 drops of rain are going to fall on your left shoulder. So put a little like plastic bag over that. It's a probabilistic assessment that says, you know, in this day, there's a 60% chance of rain in the forecast area, right? And we're all pretty comfortable with that. The only difference with earthquakes and other natural hazards is the time scale is so stretched out.
Right.
So instead of saying like a 60% chance of rain in this day, we typically can say, oh, there's a 30% chance that in the next 50 years, there's going to be an earthquake of this magnitude. And if you think about that in the same way you think about earthquake forecast, yeah, the time scale is really stretched, but it's still hugely useful.
Right. Are there any spots that are particularly concerning for the next 50 years?
Absolutely, right? So you can take that kind of, let's say, it's not a weather map anymore. It's an earthquake forecast map, and say, here are the regions that are very high risk relative to others. Here are the regions that are very low risk, and like, let's do some things to be prepared. Let's do the equivalent of bringing an umbrella.
Right.
So Southern California.
Southern California is your umbrella city?
umbrella
area
region, totally.
Because there's also a ton of people there. You got to have those overlaps
Yeah,
too. Like if it's a place where there's going to be a big earthquake, but there's like 6 people, it's like, sorry guys.
Well, it's just less worth investing a huge amount to protect them, which is kind of like cold-blooded, but we are physicists after all. So, Southern California is a place of tremendous concern, and it's a place where it's well worth investing in preparedness. Certain parts of the Himalaya, so the section of the Himalaya just west of the Nepal earthquake rupture of last spring is an area of very high concern as well. Those are the two I know best, but many regions have these probabilistic assessments in them that should be informing how we plan and prepare.
So has this gotten better? Have we gotten better at knowing and preparing?
I would say we have gotten substantially better at knowing. So there's lots of cool innovations in earthquake science over the past decade or so. Everything from the kind of fancy fluid dynamics, continuum mechanics modeling of like what the shaking will look like in an area, all the way to thinking about how earthquakes interact and trigger each other, and integrating other kinds of data besides just seismological data into these probabilistic forecasts. Have we gotten better at preparing? I think nominally not. So
Really?
it's this interesting disconnect between the science and like people that live in a place that don't have access to the technical information.
Well, I mean, there's infrastructure that's already built, and you can't like knock everything down and rebuild it. But I feel like in Southern California, buildings are built to go through earthquakes.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, in some places, people are better prepared.
Yeah.
In other places, not so much. So we work a lot in the developing world, and I would say that like pipeline of bringing science to the village level, to the people that will be in the houses that fall down is not there.
Yeah.
It should be better.
Yeah.
Could be better.
So what are you're talking about how, I guess I'm gonna try and phrase this in a way that makes sense to me. The way that the land looks, what the Earth is made up of affects how an earthquake will travel. And so, like, can you sort of have a better idea if like an earthquake happens here than where people will and won't be affected? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, so we can definitely do that, and then even just kind of understanding, what does the landscape look like when there are active faults in it? What kinds of measurements can we use to tell us which faults are active, or even to identify places where there are things like blind faults. So they don't have a really obvious signature at the surface, but you still have like the fundamental energy budget in the earth that tells you like if things are getting mushed or pulled or wrenched, there have to be earthquakes in that area. But if there aren't relative motions like spanning a region, there can't be earthquakes because you don't have any energy to power up that battery to make it happen. And so we have like lots of new methods for measuring that kind of thing.
Like whether the Earth is actually stretching, passing each other.
Totally.
Also rising and falling. Yep. I saw this map of like how Yellowstone has risen. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's terrifying. It's like feet.
Yeah.
Since we started measuring.
Well, the Yellowstone actually kind of breathes. So it goes up and then it goes back down and it goes up and it goes back down. But just being able to measure that with like a very high precision
is new stuff.
Allows us to then go back to the basic physics, this nice Newtonian mechanics stuff, and say, what kinds of forces are being applied to make this object, which happens to be our neighborhood, say, to form in this way, and what's going on at depth. And then, therefore, what are the implications of that, right? So before volcanic eruptions, like mega volcanoes and like movie-level Armageddon happens, you have to inflate that magma chamber, and there are a ton of cool geophysical tools now that would detect something like that. So we could all take a weekend in Seattle, and it would be cool, and come back. And
For real? Well, if the magma chamber starts to fill up, there's like on the scale of a year, there would be concern.
Sure.
Oh, have there been situations where we've had a little bit of warning?
Sure, totally. Particularly for volcanic systems. Yeah, those are quite well instrumented these days. And sometimes there's a surprise. So like, if a volcano, say, is like emitting poisonous gas, like happened in Japan recently, that's hard because that's kind of a small effect mechanically. But if like an earthquake, I mean, if a volcano's got like a magma chamber that's filling, you
like
can
a Mount St.
definitely
Helens
see
style.
that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we would catch that.
Okay. Well, I feel a little bit safer having had you to talk to.
I'm not protecting you. I'm just assuaging your fears.
Well, do you want to meet an animal that's gonna come visit?
Yes.
Okay. Let's
I
do
love
that.
animals.
Great. Thank you. Jessi, where are you? All right. Well, it looks like we've got some kind of I don't know. Is this a physics experiment, a geophysics experiment that you've brought us?
I'd be a very poor physics experiment because I don't know physics.
Okay. Well, what is it then?
I mean, we can do an animal experiment. We can see how long it takes you to find the animal.
Oh, let's do that.
Okay.
Is it gonna hurt me?
It shouldn't.
Just stick your face in there and see.
That's just sand. I think I touched something.
Do you want to try this too? You touched something.
I did. Is it gonna be mad at me?
No.
There's something right here. It's hard.
What do you think it is?
I think I know what it is because I think I've seen this animal before. Oh, hello there. How'd you get in there? I want to see the process of. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh my God, there's a lot of snake in there.
Isn't that amazing? She was hiding. I know. Which side is her head? This is Sandy, and she's a Kenya sand boa, and she does have a very confusing body plan here.
Yeah.
Her head and tail are supposed to look the same, or they are able to fool and confuse the predator that might be going after her. It might take them a little bit longer to figure out which one is her head, and that can give her time to escape. All right, so I want you guys to feel her.
Did you say sand boa?
Sand boa, yeah.
Okay, so you're a constrictor?
Yeah. Oh God, that's heavy. This one.
You want me to pick this up?
Yep. All right, so go ahead and touch her body first, and then go all the way back to her tail.
Ooh. Oh, I love snakes. Oh,
Isn't that cool?
It's like we've got some kind of armor back there going on.
Yeah, almost feels like a rasp or a file back there, and that's going to help make sure that if something does grab onto her tail, it's going to be harder for teeth to get a hold of that, or talons or beaks. And these guys are really, really good at burrowing, and we can put that sand back up here if we want to see if she wants to go down in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But she can show off her features. Her awesome. Oh, she's going right in.
Oh my.
But I want you guys to imagine for a second going face first into the sand.
Yeah.
Like what would be the problem there?
Well, I can't do that.
And sand would get in your eyes, and it'd get in your nose, and it'd get in your ears, and it would like scratch your skin. And we have a big flat head, right? Or kind of round, and it wouldn't be able to go into the sand very well. So she has a really cool shaped head. It's actually shovel shaped, and her upper lip is over her bottom lip. So when she goes in, no sand is going to get in her mouth. Her nostrils are very small and shaped so that she can go in very easily, and also that it won't go into her nostrils. She has no external ears, no snakes do, and she has no eyelids. She has caps instead of eyelids. So she's made to be able to go face first into things.
So
I mean,
Isn't that cool?
Is a physics experiment, I guess.
I do not actually know how you generate the force to shove yourself into the sand. It was like Scrooge McDuck jumping into his
into the coins.
Yeah. I would think that would be fairly hard, but no, you just
she gets right in there, and once she goes in there, she's gonna turn just a little bit, and so then she can pull the rest of her body in. So she pushes with her body, and then when she gets in there, she pulls with her body. All right.
All
that
work, but you're coming right back
Yeah,
up.
but she's optimized for that.
It's just a very nice snake. Doesn't care at all.
Oh, she is so chill. She's fairly old too. You got some sand on your head. Okay, so take a look at that head. See how that works? It's nice and shovel shaped. Yeah. Upper lip goes over the bottom lip.
Even looks
you
like
got an
Scrooge
overbite.
McDuck.
Pretty cool. All right, so I wanted to bring out some snake sheds as well. And this is the shed of a corn snake, and you can just feel that.
Thanks. You have so many of these, you don't even care.
Now, yeah, there's so many. Now feel this one.
Oh, I thought it was going to be more substantial or thicker, but it's in fact softer.
It's really
Yeah, it's thinner, smaller scales, and there's not as much of bumps between them. So it's going to help her streamline her so she can go down into substrate easier. So there is a kind of a misnomer. These guys are called sand boas, but they don't actually live in dune sand like this. And I brought the sand just so you could see the effect really easy of how she burrows down in there. These guys mostly live in other soils that's going to retain the shape of her burrow better, so she doesn't have to constantly be digging new burrows. So she'll make her own burrow at home, and then she'll kind of hang out in there. She's an ambush predator, so she'll just wait until something comes along. I mean, she's a pretty heavy-bodied snake, so she's not going to move very fast. She doesn't. She's like sits and waits, and then she strikes, grabs it, and will either constrict it there or she'll pull it under the sand and suffocate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Luckily, they're not big enough to eat us.
No, is this a pretty big sized?
This is as big as they get. They get about 22 to 24 inches, and she's a female. The males are going to be smaller, top out at 20 inches. But she is, we've had her for 10 years. We rescued her 10 years ago, and she was an adult, almost adult when we got her. So I'm guessing at least 2 years old. So 12 or older, and they live about 15 years. So she's a very
Adult,
old snake.
You look very healthy.
Would you like to hold her?
Sure.
She doesn't move around very much, so just
there's
kind of
not a
support
lot
her
of
whole body.
not a lot of grabbing happening.
Nope, she doesn't.
Like with other snakes I felt, where they're just like, I will hold on to you. No, this is just.
Nope, just flops. She's a floppy girl.
So does she shed more than a normal snake? I think maybe more abrasion. No.
Nope. She sheds about once or twice a year after she becomes an adult. These guys are really interesting because they have a very slow metabolism, and they can actually go almost an entire year without eating anything if food is scarce. But normally they'd probably eat as an adult every 2 weeks.
And why would someone want this snake as a pet?
It's
just like, I will lay here.
Low maintenance.
Low maintenance, they can.
Yeah.
They can. The disadvantage is they're mostly under the sand most of the time, under their substrate. They're hiding away.
Without substrate would just be a sad bored snake.
They're very into burrowing, so they can have other kinds of, you could put them on newspaper, but probably not for a very long time, like paper, newspaper, reptile carpet. You should give them something to burrow in. You can give them like wood shavings or soil or play sand. They enjoy different textures.
She decided to be
She's
active
adventuring
now.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Oh, snakes are so weird.
I know how it works. I know how the mechanics work, but still just watching them move without
impossible.
seeming to move.
Yeah. You can feel their weird muscles grabbing onto each other. It's just strange. Where are you going?
I'm going to go someplace warm and dark.
Where I can
I'm a burrower. Do you want to hold her?
Sure.
Look at this
They
long tube animal. Oh yeah, the ripples. I'm sorry you can't feel the ripples at home, but it's weird. Ooh.
You got to her, Chloe.
Sorry, Snakey. I forgot the snake's name was.
Sandy.
Sorry, Sandy. Oh, that's pretty easy. Sorry, Sandy, for the poke.
So Sandy, she wasn't, nothing terrible happened to her.
Yeah.
She belonged to someone who ended up getting pregnant and didn't think that they had the time to take care of a snake.
Even the laziest
But, to each their own. And so she came and lived with us, and she grew a little bit, and she's just a wonderful ambassador. She's so calm and relaxed.
You can just have somebody put their hand in the sand and not...
That's for like advanced animal people.
Okay.
We bring Sandy out for people that are scared of snakes because she doesn't look too snaky. Like she's just short and wide, and she just lays there. And so she doesn't dart around or move around much, and so people are more inclined to, reach out and give her a little touch and go, ooh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I like her eyes too, how they just
they're-
camouflage so
And they're
well.
so small.
Yep.
I guess probably doesn't need a lot of sight.
No, she's just gonna be hanging out in her little dark hole, and then she's gonna smell when that prey comes along, and then she'll just jump out and strike at it. I wonder if this one has eyes on it. That's the bottom. Ah,
Oh yeah.
we do.
That is cool.
Little eye scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front of the face came off, but
Gotta get those.
yeah. They're tiny
So
though.
strange.
Isn't this so weird? And when a snake sheds, they shed inside out. So this is actually the outside of her skin. That would be the inside. So it'd be like taking your sock and then grabbing it from the top and pulling it inside out. That's how a snake is going to shed, but they do it out their mouth area.
What if we shed our skin? And they were like twice a year we were like, just don't bug me. I gotta take
Slowly
it's gonna
just-
be reading a book and
Just take a week.
shuffling out of my own skin.
How would you lay and maneuver? Because some animals turn upside down and pull out this way. Some hang from a branch and let gravity pull them out.
Oh.
And these guys will rub against things.
You know, I bet we'd have special salons. Where you
Shedding
go,
salons.
Yeah, you go and pay
My
$50.
question is, would you save the skin? Would you
No,
save your old skin?
Definitely not. Probably someone would make a
If
beauty
it was
product out of
a
it.
token of your love to give the 1-year-old skin.
This is the shed I first met you in.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. There'd probably be some weird ritual around it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
grind it down and make it into I don't know.
Yeah. Put it in your Gatorade.
Well, we kind of we actually do shed, so
We shed lots of
one
skin.
cell
yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
we don't do anything weird with that now.
No, we don't. We just
throw it
sweep
away.
it up and
It's all
and
dusting.
It's
yeah,
dusting.
just be sort of
Housekeeping.
amazed by how much of it there is. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show to
content.
inspire such conversations, Sandy. Thank you, Rebecca, for
Yeah. pleasure.
allaying my fears. And Paul Giamatti had me so stressed out. This is much better.
Paul Giamatti's brand is stress, though.
Basically, yeah, they were like, who can we get who's just going to be really freaked out, but also
wanna
look
sweat all the
potentially
time.
knowledgeable? Thanks, Jessi.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Sure.
And thank you for watching this episode of SciShow Talk Show. You're great. If you want to watch more of it, it's on youtube.com/SciShow, where you can additionally, if you want to, subscribe to our channel. Jessi, you can subscribe to her channel at youtube.com/AnimalWondersMontana, where you can see all kinds of crazy animals that she takes care of.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Rarely do I get to control 20 million of one thing at a time and tell them to be something.
Yeah. It's the control that you're really in it for.
Yeah, the power of it all.
Are you working?